We're getting even deeper into the Scream 7 circus. This is crazy. Let's go.
Slashes, huh? What's your
Yeah.
favorite scary movie?
Not that one.
um,
uh,
Let's get down to brass tacks.
Okay, guys. So, a lot of things have come out in the last couple of days about Scream 7, all the controversy that surrounded it before bringing Kevin Williamson on and so forth. So, we got to talk about this. I already spoke about the statements made by Jenna Ortega. So, if you haven't seen that, please check that video out. This is a continuation, and I knew it was probably going to go here. But we got to talk about Christopher Landon and his perspective of the whole thing with Scream 7 and the big explosion that happened. We have another article from Variety, and it says original Scream 7 director exited amid death threats over Melissa Barrera's firing, even though I did not fire her. Jenna Ortega was out when he signed on. Wow. So we're getting not only the statements, but we're going to have a timeline here. The article goes on to say, I'm going to read some of this to you guys and then give you my thoughts on it. Happy Death Day director Christopher Landon is opening up about exiting Scream 7. The director officially announced his departure from the horror sequel in December 2023, about a month after Melissa Barrera was fired from the movie due to social media posts she wrote about Israel and Palestine. Jenna Ortega's exit from Scream 7 was announced the day after Barrera's firing. I got messages saying, I'm going to find your kids and I'm going to kill them because you support child murder, Landon said in an interview to Vanity Fair about the death threats he received after Barrera was fired. The head of security at various studios and the FBI had to examine the threats. It was highly aggressive and really scary, end quote. Landon said he was originally blamed online for Barrera's firing since he was the director attached to Scream 7, adding, I think in the absence of people understanding how Hollywood works and what the hierarchy is, the fans were like, that's the guy. And so they came for me, knives out. I did not fire her, the director stressed. A lot of people think I had something to do with it, and it was not my doing. I had no control of the situation at all. When Landon announced his exit in December 2023, he wrote on social media that getting Scream 7 was a dream job that turned into a nightmare. He told Vanity Fair the death threats against him are why. I decided I didn't want to give any part of myself to that, Landon said. For me, it was not worth it. I would rather put my efforts into something else where I could feel appreciated and respected. The hate and abuse really spoiled it for me, and I lost my love for the idea of going forward, he continued. In the midst of all the chaos, I was grieving the loss of one of my dream jobs. And you know, the thing about all of this, it was very frustrating. It was disappointing. This was a tough time, not only for this film, but for the people involved with it and for the horror community, and specifically the Scream fans. I mean, we all love these movies with such a passion. Some of us have been a part of the love of this franchise since 1996. We're talking 30 years of really supporting this franchise. And when you have a franchise, and we're talking about a legacy franchise, and in my mind, there are 5 really big legacy franchises that are still, very popular to this day. You've got Friday the 13th, you've got Elm Street, you've got Halloween, you've got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you've got Scream. These are legacy franchises, and I'm not saying those are the only ones. I mean, you also have Child's Play, and you also have Hellraiser, and all these other ones. But I think that these 5 are some of the biggest ones and have had the longest run when you talk about decades and years worth. But when you have a franchise that is that popular and you've got a fan base that is that passionate, a lot of times you can have the positive part of it and you can have the negative part of it. And I think that the Scream fan base, there was a lot of negativity, there was a lot of confusion, and people wanted answers and they didn't know who to turn to. And so there was a lot of lashing out. And I think it was really unfair to Christopher Landon. I think that if anything, there should have been more understanding and grace and patience. I'm not saying that people can't be emotional, but the targeting him and the threats and so forth, that went way overboard. And to me, it's a shame. It truly is. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. You guys know what I say on this channel. There's no lying here. It's just really a shame that even if he did fire Melissa, there should be no death threats to him and his kids. That just goes way beyond. But we're past that now, and now we're coming to an understanding of more of the behind the scenes as fans. You know, we're all fans. I'm a fan. And again, I think that this was really difficult. This was a difficult article for me to read and to digest. And I had heard of all of these things, but now hearing more specifically and directly from Christopher's own mouth, it's like, wow, this is just tough stuff. The article closes out to say, Ortega said at the time of her exit, it was her shooting schedule that was preventing her from starring in Scream 7, but the actor told the Cut this month she left the film because of the fallout from Barrera's firing, which I spoke about that on my last video. If you haven't seen that, check it out. It's just really tough. It's just really tough to see how all these dominoes fell, you know, and I think that it's just unfortunate. The thing I hope most for is that as we move forward, that obviously Christopher Landon and his career continues to move in a positive and successful direction, which it looks like it is. He's a very talented director. And for Melissa and for Jenna and for all of us as Scream fans and the Scream franchise, I just hope it can move forward in a positive direction. Speaking to Variety on his Drop press tour, Landon said that when I signed on to the project, I was told Ortega was out. That was one of the first things they told me right when I signed on. And I was like, oh shit, really? So that was a bit of a shock to me. Now, this is something I didn't know, that when he signed on, Jenna was already out. So, you know, he was dealt a really tough hand. He really was. Like he said, this was a dream job for him, a dream to be a part of this franchise. And it truly became a nightmare. And so at the time we were figuring out, how do we make another movie without her? How do we manage that? He continued. So that was old news to me from the go. It made a lot of sense what she said, because I do think that sometimes when you're an actor, it'd be like Jessica Roth finding out that we're making a third Happy Death Day, but I'm not directing it. I think we all get very attached to people that we work with and that we sort of align ourselves with creatively. And when somebody new comes in, it's like, who's this guy? So I totally got that 100%. Scream 7 has moved on with Kevin Williamson, the franchise's original screenwriter, stepping in to direct. The movie will feature the return of franchise icon Neve Campbell. And of course, this actually kind of contradicts, it does contradict what we heard from Jenna Ortega when she was saying that the reason, or the real reason, that she exited Scream 7 was because of the Melissa Barrera controversy. But now, according to Christopher Landon, she was out when he came on board to direct. And as far as I'm concerned, Christopher Landon has no reason to lie about it. So it is what it is at the end of the day, guys. You can make up your own decisions, but it truly looks as though that this controversy had so much going on with it on the inside and the outside. We're still trying to come to peace with it. It's just interesting to me. It really is. I'm glad that Christopher is able to put this out there, you know, to give his explanation, although he doesn't have to explain anything to anyone, least of all us horror fans. But I think because he's a stand-up guy and he just really seems to be so humble and such a fan. He's a horror fan, right? And I think that it just shows his character to come out and talk about what was going on and to really show everyone where his perspective is on the situation. So I applaud him. And guys, you know, check out this article. This is really, I think now when you look at it, hindsight being 2020, I think that it was very unfortunate that there was so much negativity online for him and other folks involved. And hopefully it's a lesson that we can all learn. I'm including myself because I'm a horror fan, I'm a Scream fan, that we can all learn about Hollywood and films and how things happen. And we don't always know everything that we need to know. And I hope that moving forward that we can handle things like this much better. But you guys, let me know what you think. Let's talk about it as a community, as we always do. Down in the comments, tell me what you think about this article about Christopher Landon and what happened behind the scenes of Scream 7. Don't forget to hit the like button. It helps to support the channel, and we appreciate it. And as always, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.